The story begins with a simple truth: most people live inside their comfort zone. It is a space that feels safe, predictable, and easy. The student in our story was no different. Every day followed the same pattern: wake up, go to class, finish assignments, scroll on the phone, and sleep. There was nothing wrong with this life, but there was also nothing truly exciting about it. Deep inside, the student felt a hidden emptiness, a voice whispering that life could offer more. Yet, stepping out of that safety felt terrifying. This student was known for being responsible, quiet, and average in almost everything. Friends admired how calm and steady they were, but the student secretly wished to do something bold, something unforgettable. Still, whenever new opportunities appeared, fear took control. What if they failed? What if people laughed? What if they lost what little comfort they already had? These questions acted like invisible chains, holding the student in place. Then one day, a challenge arrived that could not be ignored. The teacher announced a public speaking contest, open to all students. The winner would not only represent the school at a national level but also receive a scholarship. The moment the announcement echoed through the classroom, the students' hearts skipped a beat. A tiny spark lit inside. This was the kind of chance they had always dreamed of. But almost instantly, fear rushed in to put out that fire. The student thought, public speaking? I can barely raise my hand in class. How can I speak in front of hundreds of people? That night, they lay in bed staring at the ceiling, imagining the crowd, the microphone, the lights. Their palms sweated just at the thought. It felt easier to stay safe, to avoid embarrassment, to remain unnoticed. After all, inside the comfort zone, there are no risks. But there are also no victories. Days passed, and the conflict grew stronger. Friends encouraged the student to try. The teacher said, "Great opportunities come to those who dare." Even the student's own heart whispered, "Do it." But the mind replied with louder voices of doubt. The struggle was real, between the desire for growth and the fear of failure. This tug-of-war created sleepless nights, heavy thoughts, and an endless cycle of what-ifs. The students started to notice something strange. Every time they refused to step out, life felt smaller. The world outside looked wide and full of possibilities, but their own world shrank into the same four walls. That realization hurt. It was the pain of knowing that fear was stealing chances away. This pain was powerful. It made the student feel restless, even angry at themselves. And this is where the emotional impact strikes. The audience feels the student's hesitation, the choking grip of fear, and the ache of wanting more but being too scared to act. It is a mirror for anyone who has ever dreamed of doing something big but stayed silent. The conflict here is not with the world, but within the student. Comfort whispers safety. Growth whispers adventure. Which voice should they listen to? By the end of this section, the student stands at the edge of a choice: stay forever in the comfort zone, or take the first step into the unknown. The turning point came when the student finally realized that fear would always exist, no matter how long they waited. There was no perfect moment, no magical day when confidence would suddenly appear. If they wanted to change their life, they had to act while afraid. With trembling hands and a racing heartbeat, the student wrote their name on the registration form for the contest. It was the scariest signature they had ever made, but also the most important. From that moment, the journey of transformation began. The first practice was painful. The student stood in front of a small group of classmates, holding the paper with shaking fingers. Words stuck in the throat, voice cracked, and laughter echoed from the back of the room. The student wanted to run away, to hide forever. But then something shifted. Instead of quitting, they tried again the next day, and the next, and the next. Each time, the fear was still there, but it grew weaker, while courage grew stronger. The mentor noticed this persistence and pulled the student aside. Do you see what's happening? You're still nervous, but you're no longer frozen. That is growth. That is strength. Those words felt like fuel poured into a small fire. It made the student believe that change was possible. The day of the contest arrived. Standing backstage, the student could hear the crowd, feel the lights hitting the stage, and sense the heavy silence waiting to be filled. For a moment, fear whispered again, "You don't belong here." But this time, the student answered back, "I may be afraid, but I am not running anymore." And with that thought, they stepped forward. The speech was not perfect. There were pauses, a few stumbles, and moments of doubt. But there was also passion, honesty, and raw courage in every word. When the final sentence echoed, the hall erupted in applause. The students' chests filled with something new, not comfort, but pride. They had done what once seemed impossible. Even though they did not win first place, the real victory was much bigger. The student had broken free from the prison of fear. From that day on, they began saying yes to more opportunities, joining clubs, applying for internships, volunteering for challenges. Each step felt uncertain, but each step widened the world. The comfort zone was left behind forever, replaced by a mindset of growth. This resolution delivers the deepest emotional impact. The audience feels the triumph of courage, the relief of breaking chains, and the joy of watching someone transform. It is no longer just a story about one student, it is a reflection of every viewer's hidden potential. And finally comes the moral lesson: life begins when you leave your comfort zone. Safety can protect you, but it cannot grow you. Fear will always exist, but so will the chance to rise above it. The student's story is proof that discomfort is not the enemy, it is the path to becoming stronger, braver, and freer. The video ends with a direct motivational call: if this student could face fear and change their life, so can you. The comfort zone may feel safe, but it is also a cage. The only way to discover your true self is to step out, take the risk, and embrace the unknown. Remember, fear lasts for a moment, but growth lasts forever.